Times have changed, and so has how we talk to our kids about sex. So what do you need to know before you have the big talk with your kids? Carrie Stutzman from Head and Heart Parents is here with some advice for us this morning. Always a difficult topic, and one a lot of people are scared to have with their kids.
Right, it can be really uncomfortable. So I think one of the important things to remember is the big talk isn't what we think it is. It's not one big talk. And I think we should think of it like we have this much knowledge, information, values, opinions,
like
wisdom.
Our glass is full.
Yeah, like
yes.
We have a lot that we've learned over our lives that we want to share with our kids, but they can only take it in about a thimble at a time.
Oh, wow.
Just the littlest bit of knowledge at a time. So the thought of a big talk is a bit of a myth. So we need to start a lot earlier than we think. We need to bring it up a lot more often than we might to fill the little thimble.
So in other words, don't sit down and say, it's time, I'm finally gonna have this birds and bees discussion with you, and then you set it all up for a big expectation from the kid too. So little things along the way, even while you're driving in the car, would you say, or discussions along the way?
Exactly. If we wait until they're teenagers and try to have that big talk, they're not gonna listen. So I think we need to start when they're little and talk about their bodies and how they take care of their bodies and touch and liking other kids. And you know, it starts early. Like when I was in kindergarten, I got sent to the back of the room because I reached up and kissed a little boy on the cheek. And I was mortified, but my crush was so strong. And so when they're little, they'll listen. So the whole sex talk is really a lot about relationships and dating. And it's so much more than just mechanics and yes and no and that sort of thing.
So the next tip that you have for us is to be curious. What do you mean by that?
So talking about sex, I think, especially by the teenage years, should not be a one-directional thing. We need to be curious about what their opinions are, what they think about things. So we can watch a show, and when something sexual comes up, ask a question. Oh, what did you think of that? How would you have handled that? And then we need to just listen. And if kids have the choice of opting out of our opinions, you know, if we're not always forcing it, then they're more likely to opt in.
And when they say, oh, Mom, that's embarrassing, do you just go with it? Do you turn away, don't talk about it anymore?
I think it's good to shrug and it's just a part of life. Like, look how many humans there are on the planet. Obviously, a lot of people are opting in to sexuality.
And it's so much more a part of their life with social media and some of the shows they see, that the opportunities to talk about it are much greater because it's right in front of them.
Well, and if we're not teaching it, media and their peers are right there and happy to.
Okay, next tip, you say teach your kids that they can trust you.
Right, so if we want our kids to come to us for the big stuff like sex, we need to teach them that they can trust us with the small stuff. So when they're doing other things we may disagree with, or when they're asking questions, if we blow up or get fired up, or if we're really judgmental, they're not going to trust us for the big stuff.
Yeah, okay. And then lastly, you have talk about the good stuff. Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah, you know, I think that so many of the sex talks are about what not to do, and don't get pregnant, and, you know, don't get diseases, and say no. And we miss out on the chance to really honor the fact that sexuality is part of relationships and dating, and we can be teaching the sweetness of a good relationship, how to pick a good person to date, how to break up with grace, how to survive a breakup. Just all that, you know, the yumminess of relationships that we're all so drawn to is a part of the whole big talk.
Yeah, great advice today on a topic that a lot of parents are really scared of, so thanks, we appreciate that.
My pleasure.
And you can find more advice from Carrie in the Daybreak section of our website, kwgn.com. Tom?
All right, coming up in the next half.